Hey there, it's Derek from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan, and we're looking at a Honda Integra. Also kind of known as the Acura Integra, but since this is a Japanese model in Japan, it's a Honda Integra. This one's the 4-door and comes with a 1600cc twin carbureted engine. And I'm going to talk more on that in just a second. But the coolant looks okay. The oil I couldn't check because the dipstick is broken. You'd be able to take it out if you had pliers and just pull it out. It still has the stem on it, but the loop piece has been broken off and I couldn't get it out with just fingers. Now I don't think that the American version of this ever came with a carbureted engine, because in 1993 carburetors were generally gone out of all cars except for maybe some high performance cars or motorcycles. And so it is kind of weird to see that, but kind of good in a way. And I'll get to that in just a sec. Engine running condition is good, but there's something rattling. I think it's the exhaust manifold here. And then no modifications to it except for sticks and twigs modification, which kind of reminds me of back home in Canada. All the cars having cedar stuck there for some reason. Okay, gonna lower the engine room here. Engine room. Hood. Yes. There we go. Have a quick look at the car. This one here would be considered the Zenki version, or the early model. Has the 4 headlights. In Japan, the next model, where in America they got the more stylish 4 headlights instead of the rounder 4 headlights, in Japan they had like a single bar, and that's kind of iconic for being the JDM hotness. Let's look over the auction sheet. This one was bought from auction in Japan. It's going to be going to a customer in the USA. Condition of the car is generally pretty good, with a body that has a couple of defects here and there. So I'll show you. This was the auction inspection sheet, so all the information given on the car before purchase. So it's a 1993. The Type R of this is pretty amazing, pretty crazy, but they didn't sell them until 1996. So you still have another 3 years before you can import those. But these started in 1993. In the SIR. Actually, I don't know when the SIR came out. It may have been several months after this was originally made for other markets, or for other, trim levels. Okay, so 72,311 kilometers on there, 5-speed manual on this one, auction rate 4, interior B, and then the seller didn't really write anything to help sell the car. And then the report here says seat is dirty, which is really not that bad. Steering wheel wear, and it's really not that bad. Aftermarket wheels with winter tires on them, those are bad. Because they're tiny wheels with huge sidewalls. And this car looks awesome with 16s, 17s, 15s, basically everything. Disc brakes on the front and drum brakes on the back. Center floor has one part of corrosion. Now I got undercar pictures of it. The corrosion can be a little bit hard to find when you're just peeking underneath the car. In general, everything I could see looked fine. So there's going to be some corrosion under there. Probably isn't going to be that crazy. Typically I would stay away from cars that have corrosion, but this is just the very beginning of the Integra. People are going to be jumping on this car, and at the price that they sell at the moment, it's definitely worth it to get one and then just patch that up or repair or whatever. Most likely probably wouldn't even need welding. You could hear the RPM go up because the AC just came on. Okay, so U2 dent here, that's a medium dent here, and a medium dent there, and then the body has some scratches back here that I couldn't find, and then some repaint mark here. It doesn't say it, but the hood and the roof are a little bit cloudy. Just a little bit. And I think probably with a wax it'll be fine. It'll bring up that luster a little bit. You can kind of see it there. Okay, so let's do the once around here, and you can take a look at those small little wheels and say, I want some bigger wheels on this. I think that this chassis is one of my favorite, whether it's 2-door or 4-door. It just feels so good. This is really Honda in its prime, and maybe close to the end of Honda being way better than everyone else. It's weird. Honda, Toyota, and Nissan, they really had lots of great cars in the 70s, 80s, 90s, but this chassis feels so good in a way that you can't really explain until you actually sit in it and sit in 700 other different types of cars and then feel the difference, because it feels like it's very well made, but yet it's very light. The engines feel good. They're kind of torquey at the low end, but they get more power at the high end. Carbureted engine. Okay, this has dual side draft, well, no, they're downdraft carburetors, but they are on the back of the engine, and it's 2 of them. Carburetors are kind of cool because they give you, well, they give you bad fuel economy. They give you kind of lower performance. This one here I think is around 120 horsepower out of the 2 liter, which is really not that bad. The dual carburetor will help you get more gas in. But if you were to change them over to aftermarket, you can get a lot of power out of a carbureted engine. You can get close to the same out of a performance-tuned, fuel-injected car. But with a carbureted one, you get a lot more response, where you hit that pedal and you can see the RPM going brum, brum, brum. And especially if you go with a, I'm not going to go in there yet. If you go with a like a larger carburetor, like a Weber, you can put 2 dual side drafts on there. You can be really happy with the way that the car performs, and then you don't have to do any of the regular conversion that you would need to do from a fuel injected car to a carbureted one, because you have to run different pressure fuel pumps, and like you no longer have a highly pressurized fuel system, and so typically you would use different styles of hoses and clamps and stuff. I don't know everything that would be involved in making the conversion over, but some people do take their fuel injected cars and then convert them to be carbureted, just because carbureted cars feel and sound so awesome and smell so awesome too. It's a little bit weird to say that the smell of gasoline would be a good thing on your car, but a good carbureted car, especially a Honda, it's just part of a delicious package that the numbers don't really say anything about on paper. And so one of those things that you have to experience it in order to see how cool it is. Ooh, there's a Prado going over there. Okay, so it used to have roof racks on here. These are plastic actually, and you would be able to peel this plastic off and then polish it in order to have no marks on there. He can't get in. He's like, how do I drive? I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, door cards feel really good. A lot of these ones get separated here or bunchy. This one's no problem. All the power windows work properly. Doesn't have power folding mirrors. Steering wheel, as you can see, it actually has basically no wear on it. Same thing with the seats. And these seats are good. They're lightweight, small, but comfortable. They're not as good as the Integra Type R seats, but for being like the non-performance version, I really like them. Okay, very simple gauges in here. I'll show you some throttle response. Check this out. And you can probably hear the exhaust leak when I do that. AC works nice and well. Power steering is really good. This is climate control AC, which I don't think that the American one got in the lower model version of it, but I'm not sure. These are stock, CD player, tape deck. No surprise cigarette butts. That's always nice because I hate cleaning those out. Shifter feels really good. Yeah, like front wheel drive shifters usually don't feel that good because they use linkages in a way that rear wheel drive ones don't. So it's nice to have one that feels good and feels confident when you're shifting. And I think Honda's pretty good with that for all of their shifters. Okay, rear seats here, very good. Decent amount of room for being a small car. And trunk. So in the 2-door version you get a hatch, so the glass comes up. In the 4-door version you get a trunk. You can actually get the Type R in Japan as a 4-door or a 2-door, and in the States you can only get the Type R. Trying to take the leaves out. You can only get the Type R as a 2-door, and I actually really like the 4-door version of the Type R because I think it's just cool and special and unique. That leaf! Get out of the car! Okay, so the liner here is very lightweight. Well, very thin compared to most. But it works, right? And it's super lightweight, keeps your weight down. It gets you better acceleration and deceleration, cornering, better everything. Cool. And so that's basically it. It is a carbureted Integra 1.6. It's cool. I like it. I'm going to the USA. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much, and have a nice day.